Welcome to our weekly roundup of key business developments in Sri Lanka. I'm Nishani Pigera. Let's first take a look at the main stories for this week. IMF lauds Sri Lanka's hard-won gains. $1.7 billion in foreign loans over the medium term. And tea volumes fall to 26-year low. In our top story this week, Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Georgina Kristalina, commended Sri Lanka's commitment to the current reforms program and reiterated the organization's support for the nation. She made these comments at a meetup with a Sri Lankan delegation led by Mahinda Siriwardana, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance. In addition to such comments, the IMF is also set to remove Sri Lanka from its surcharge list of countries once the agency's latest lending reforms come into effect from November 1st. Sri Lanka, being a heavily indebted country, joined this list last year. Removal from the list is a significant move as surcharges are fees levied from countries whose outstanding credit to the IMF exceeds a certain time or level-based threshold. Just earlier this month, Sri Lanka concluded its external debt restructuring, with its bilateral and commercial creditors restructuring nearly $17.5 billion in external debt. According to the Ministry of Finance, Sri Lanka will receive $1.69 billion in foreign loans over the next 3 to 5 years from multilateral agencies, with 10 agreements worth about $398 million. In the first 8 months of 2024, Sri Lanka has received over $1 billion in foreign financing, with Japan being the highest bilateral lender, while the Asian Development Bank was the highest multilateral lender. The Colombo Port's East Container Terminal was granted a special project status by the Cabinet of Ministers. The decision was taken based on a suggestion given by Vijitha Herath, Minister of Transport, Highways, Ports and Civil Aviation. Currently, construction is progressing and contracts have been awarded for civil work. On a related note, the Sri Lankan Cabinet approved to obtain $30 million loan from the ADB in 2 installments to finance the completion of the Morogolla hydropower project. The amount will directly be sent to the Ceylon Electricity Board. The all-share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange continued its bullish trend into the 5th consecutive week following the presidential elections in September, gaining nearly 1,300 points. The index is edging closer to the one-year high point of 12,500 last seen in May this year, making it a critical area to cross. In recent days, although bullish sentiment continues, investors were seen booking profits and shifting interest into other sectors such as plantations and construction. Sri Lanka's island-wide inflation rate also turned deflationary in September, falling by 0.2%. Earlier, Sri Lanka's key inflation rate turned deflationary for the first time since 1995. Food prices inflated by 0.5% in the month, while prices for non-food deflated by 0.7%. According to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, inflation is expected to be below 5% for the coming quarters. The Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index in September fell to 54.1 from 55.5 a month earlier, although remaining above the 50-point level, separating growth from contraction. Expansion in recent months has been driven by increased new orders in the manufacture of food and beverages. Further, stock accumulation was also seen in preparation for the festive season in the months ahead. Service sector PMI also slowed in the month to 53.4, although the sector had an overall expansion. The service sector is currently benefiting from favorable interest rates and increased private lending. Sri Lanka's tea exports in the first 9 months topped the $1 billion mark, although September volumes dipped to a 26-year low of 19.7 million kilos, down 15% from a year earlier. Despite the drop in volumes, tea exports volume in the first 9 months remained marginally higher than a year earlier. Currently, Iraq remains the largest source market for Sri Lankan tea, followed by Russia and the UAE. In our weekly tourism update, in the first 20 days of October, over 85,000 tourists arrived in the country, bringing the year-to-date total to nearly 1.6 million. Daily arrivals continue to trend lower, rising to 4,292 in the month, up from the 4,071 recorded in September. India continues to be the primary source market, followed by the United Kingdom and China. At the Treasury bill auction held on Tuesday, yields on all maturities remained unchanged from a week earlier. Bids amounting to 290 billion rupees were received, of which 125 billion were accepted. The Sri Lankan rupee remained stable against the dollar this week, with the central bank's indicative mid-spot rate ranging around 292 to 294 rupees. So far this year, the rupee has appreciated over 9.5% against the dollar. And with that, we wind up for this week. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel at the link below for regular updates on economic and business developments in Sri Lanka. Until we see you again next week, thank you for watching. Stay safe.